In this video, I'll be showing you extension in Microsoft Edge named as Level Up for Dynamics 365 Power Apps. Now, this extension has been since long, but then recently this extension has got a nice UI touch up. So you can navigate to Microsoft Edge microsoft.com slash add-ons, and then you can install this extension. Once it gets installed, extension basically allows you to perform various operations for your Power Apps or Dynamics 365 based apps. Now, if you want to know more about this extension, you can navigate to GitHub repository, and here you will be able to see various releases, packages, and the source code. You can even have a look into the different options that are available within this particular tool and all the feature set and how to use this particular tool. Now there are many features within this. We'll try to cover some of them in this particular video. Now to start with, first you need to open a, say example, a power app. So this is a model driven app. So this is a simple power app which has accounts and contacts in it. Now there are two modes in it. One is, this is a list view. So you'll be able to see the list of items, so list of accounts or list of contacts in this case. So you'll be able to see all the list of contacts, and once you navigate within the contact, you'll be able to see a form. So this tool majorly works in the list view and the form view, depending on what page you select. Now I have already installed the extension. Now if you don't know how to install the extension, you can click on three dots, navigate to extensions, get extensions for Microsoft Edge, and then from here you can start typing the name of the extension. So I'll say Level Up for Dynamics 365. I'll select that, and then I'll go ahead and install it. Now this is already installed in my system. Once it is installed, let me go into the list view first. Once it is installed, you can trigger the extension just by going into this extension icon and then turning on the Level Up for Dynamics 365. Now you can do various other operations over here as listed. If this doesn't comes up over here, what you can do is just do a right click and then you can open level up sidebar. So I'm just opening the level up sidebar. Now once it is open, you'll be able to see the list of the extensions. Now let me do a hard refresh, and let me duplicate this screen. So in one tab I will open contact, in one tab I will open accounts. And now here, if I click on this icon, Level Up for Dynamics 365, I can see that currently this is an express mode. Now express mode has various form actions and various navigation related items. So we get two options, default and simple. So sidebar mode default and is simple. Now if I click on default, the sidebar will be presented on the right hand side, and then here you'll be able to see various options. Now I'll go through some of the options, but first let's go into the options which are selected over here in the bottom. Now just by looking into it, it says that you are connected. Now I'm in the list view. If I go into the form view, I can see this, but if I go into any other page other than Power Apps, say let me I go into the GitHub page, I don't see anything over here, right? Why? Because it requires the context of a Power App or a Dynamics 365 app. Now, then we have a link to join the Discord community, link to GitHub if you find any issue, and then there is a switching between sidebar modes, which we have just selected the default mode. And then we can switch to light mode or dark mode. So if I click on dark mode, so this entire section will be converted to dark mode. Now, let me show you various sections over here. So first we have commands, form, navigation, debugging. And then there is an impersonation. Now it says impersonation is inactive. Now I've logged in as Girish. Now if I want to log in as any other user, what I can do, I can search the user. So Alex is one of the user. I'll just type in Alex and then click on impersonate. Now if I impersonate as Alex, it will start logging in and as a Alex, and then it will start giving me how Alex will see this information. Now, in my application, I have not given Alex any access, and then that's why it is not able to show me that behavior. Now, let me load the screen back. So you can basically impersonate using other user and see what the other users see in the form. Now there's a commands. So here we have an option to import the command. We have an option to create a new command. So if I click on import command, it will ask me to paste the exported JSON data below to import the command. I have an option to create a new command. So this is a command name, this is the icon, this is the description, and I can write some JavaScript code over here. Like it has also given me some placeholders like xrm page data entity.get id, or maybe console.log, and then I can create a command over here. So I can do that over here. So I can put an emoji over here. So let me put an emoji of star, and then maybe command is say I'll just say cons, and I can put some description over here, and let me pick up a simple command console.log. And this is how I can create a command. I can test the code, or I'll just create a command, and now this command gets created. So you have an option. If you have some JavaScript which you run frequently, then you can create a command. Now, okay, so that's about custom things. Now go into the form. So let us go into the form. Now I'm in the form over here. If I want to see the logical name, I can click on logical names, and then it will list on all the logical names corresponding to that particular field. So as you see over here, this is the logical name. Now if I am using this command frequently, I can add this to favorite. So if you heart this, it will go into the favorite section. Now let me go into the form now over here. Now in the form, I have an option to go into the different view. So if I go into the list view, or a grid kind of a view over here, now I have marked this logical name in the favorite. Now I can go ahead and remove this logical name from the favorite. Now if I click on clear names, so let me click on clear names, then this all logical name will go away. God mode, if there are any items over here, so let me open say another application. So I have different application model driven app. So let me open HR onboarding form. Now this is an HR onboarding form. This is a different application. So again, the context will change, and then it will show me the contact detail for this particular application. So let me go into one of the contact. Now here, if you see, there is no fax, right? So you don't see any fax item over here. Now what I've done is, like, I have the fax field, I've just made it hidden. Now in god mode, what happens is, like, if you want to make all the fields visible and editable regardless of the security role, you just click on it, and then suddenly you will see those particular fields listed within the form. Now, change field, you will click on change field. Now, within the change field, you will see show logical name for all fields and tab in the form. So, like that, you will be able to see if there are any fields that have been changed, that have been modified in the current form. So, if I make any change in one of the uh, form over here, then it will show me the change field. Now again, remember, for change field you need to make sure that the fields that have been modified within the current form only. It cannot operate in the list view. If I go to my previous application over here, I can see the record URL. Now in the record URL, if I click on record URL, it will give me the URL of this particular record. So this is that URL of this particular record. I can copy this record id. Now if I want to know the record id, now I know the record id just by looking into the URL. This is the record id starting with 3f and ending with c6. If I click on record id, I can get this record id. Then navigate to web API. So open web API endpoint for this record in a new tab. So if I click on web API, then I'll be able to see the web API for this particular record. Now as you see over here, it will give you a JSON record value. And we know, just by finding this text Jim Glenn, I can easily confirm that this is that same record. So if I search for Jim Glenn, you will find the Jim Glenn record over here. Navigating back to the tool over here. So we have seen web API, then we have refresh grid. Now this is one of the grid within the application, right? So if I click on refresh grid, then this particular grid will refresh. So as you see over here, this currently, maybe it has having one record. Now if I add another record, and maybe if that is not visible, you have an option to refresh all subgrids within the current form. Option set value, there are many option set value which are currently used within the application. So if I go over here, this is one of the option set value. Then there might be other option set value within the form. Now if you want to view all the option set value, you can click on option set value, and then here you'll be able to see all the option set value, like the contact method, gender code, family status code, and so on and so forth. So you'll be able to see all the different uh, option set value along with the value on the right hand side. So name and value pair. Then you have view all fields and their values in a searchable table. So if you want to see view all the fields, you can click on view all fields, and these are all set of field values. So there are around 308 fields value written via web API, and then you will be able to see the corresponding logical name along with the value. Then we have refresh the form without auto saving changes. So if you have auto save disabled, then you can refresh the form without auto saving changes. So if I click over here, currently this is form is refreshed without auto save. Auto save is turned off. So it will automatically refresh the form. Clone record, you can create a duplicate of this record. So if I click on clone record, it will create a duplicate of this particular record, and then you can make some changes and then save it as a different record. So I'll make it as John and click on save. So this is how you can create a record. Now it has found a duplicate because the email address matches. I'll just say ignore and save. But I have added some conditions over here, so that's why it is not allowing me to save. Now if I click on, oh, say, let me go ahead and I'll discard these changes. Okay, coming back to table processes. So we can view the workflows, business rule, business process flows, custom APIs, and actions for this entity. So if I click on table processes, it says form actions can only be used in the context of a form. You're currently on a different page type. So if I go into, say, one of the contact, if I click on table processes, then I should be able to see the table processes for the contact. So there are 10 in total. Background workflows, there's one, business process flow one, and there are 8 actions. So I can actually see different components over here. So if you see all the different actions and whether it is activated or not activated, and this is how you can get the table processes. Now if you navigate to accounts and go into one of the accounts, here also you can click on table processes and you can view the workflows business process. Now here it will tell you no workflow business process flow VPFs actions or custom API were found for the account. So it will give you those two different set of options. Now, say take for example, if you're viewing this form and then you suddenly realize that, oh, okay, I don't want job title to be shown within the form. So for that, you may need to edit the form, right? Now, how you will edit the form, you'll go to make.powerapps.com, go into the solution, go into the table, go into that specific form, and then open the form, right? Now, instead of that, you have an option to click on open form editor. So I'll click on open form editor, then it will open in a new tab. It will go into that corresponding URL, and then try opening the form in an edit mode if you have the right permission. So it will open the form in an edit mode, and then you can make that changes. Okay, coming back to the control over here. So we have seen all this thing. Now there is a navigation, so you can open by ID. So if you know the ID, so let me go and open, say, copy the ID of Patrick Sands. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll go into, maybe in my model ribbon app, I'll say open by ID, and I want to open maybe a contact. So I'll just type in contact and I know the record ID. I'll click on open ID, and then it will open Patrick Sands. So how did it open Patrick Sands? Because I knew the ID and I knew which table it belongs to. I just typed in and then I got the corresponding result back. Then we have new record. So from here you can create a new record. So I click on new record, and then it will say, oh, which table you want to create a record on. Now it is not specific to the account table or the contact table. You can go ahead and create record in any of the table provided you have the right set of permissions. So if I want to create a price list, or if I want to create a post, I can see whole bunch of table listed over here. So I can go ahead and type in whatever information I want. So I can search for any specific item, and then I'll click on account, and then it will create a new record. So I click on create new, and then it will create a new account. Then we have open list. So I can open the list. Similarly, I can go ahead and open, say, if I have, say, maybe conversation. So I have this conversation transcript list. So if I go ahead, click on open list, and if you have the right permission, then it will open any of the table items. So it will open the conversation transcript list within your model driven app. So let me close other fields over here, other forms. Yeah. Okay. Now we have seen all these things. Now if you want to view the security aspects, so access security rules and permission setting, click on security, and then it will open Power Platform Admin Center. And then within Power Platform Admin Center, it will open the user set. Now from here you can set the permission for users. So if I want to give access to Alex Wilbur, I'll go ahead and click on manage security rules, and then I'll be able to set the specific permissions for Alex. So I can give him system admin, base user, etc. And then I click on save. Coming back to the form over here, I can navigate to solutions or system jobs. So if I click on system jobs, it will list down all the system jobs that are present within the system. If I click on solution, it will take me directly to the solutions page. So from here, I can navigate to my corresponding solution, and then I can add content within that solution. Then we have processes, manage business processes and workflows. So if you have any business processes and workflow, it will take you to the business processes and workflow. Now, currently, there is nothing over here, and that's why it is showing me as blank. But then you can navigate to the business process flow. You can also create a new record just by navigating and interacting with this control. Then we have mailboxes. From here, you can directly click on, and then it will take you to the mailboxes. Home, navigate to the main Dynamics 365 homepage. Now the homepage itself is the model driven app link, and that's why it has taken me to the homepage of the model driven app. Then the other things over here, we have advanced find. So if I click on advanced find, it will take me to the advanced find query builder option set. And then from here, I can build the query and then search for the record. So let it load. Let me show you other items in the meanwhile. We have mobile view, access the mobile client interface. So if I click on mobile, it will open the mobile client interface. So let it load. Let me show you the other options. So we have pin to side panel. So I have an option to pin the current page to the side panel. So this is the side panel over here. So if I pin adventure work sample over here, I can pin this to side panel. Now let me first see what it has loaded. No, I think it's still getting loaded. That's fine. Let me show you pinning to side panel. So if I have this adventure works, I will pin this to side panel. So adventure works will be pinned to the side panel. If I go into the contacts, I will go ahead and maybe pick up Patrick Sands, and then I will pin to the side panel. I'll go into the accounts list. I'll pin this to the side panel. So as you see over here, I have pinned everything to the side panel. So this is a quick way for me to navigate to that specific record set. I can navigate to Patrick Sands. I can navigate to the accounts table. I can navigate to uh, the adventure works table. So I can pin this item to the side panel. So sometimes this also comes handy so that you can compare different page values. So I can even say minimize and maximize this particular area. I can resize this areas. Then there are other options, forms monitor. So I can monitor the form. So if I just X out of here, so let me go back to the model driven app. Let me open HR onboarding app. Now, yes, just coming back to the advanced find. So this will open the advanced find view as we see over here. I'll just close this and let this page load up. Then I'll show you that. Okay, so coming back to the model driven app over here. Here in the model driven app, I have this forms monitor. Now, if I click on forms monitor, I don't see anything happening. I'll click on Bob Johnson over here. Now, monitor form events and script execution. So I don't see anything happening from forms monitor over here. But if you don't see any result, what you can do is you can go into the GitHub and then report an issue. Then we have command checker. So I'll click on command checker. So it will help you to debug the ribbon command and check their availability and specific rules. There is an option over here to navigate to the command checker directly as well. So you can go ahead and click on command checker and then see, and then you can even regenerate the ribbon metadata. Performance center is all about checking the performance load of the page. Now, as you see over here, this simple control loads up. You have an option to click on settings, and then you can change the data collection URL, collect memory, collect timelines, and then you can even clear the warnings and error. Now, if I click on this green icon over here, I'll be able to see various other options. I can even track at XML HTTP request, uh, and all those different commands. So if you say microsoft.powerapps.copilot, then I can go ahead and even troubleshoot the performance related issues. So these are the list of metadata and event durations, and you can further click on it, and then you will be able to see some various information, and you can pin out this particular uh, components as well. Let me cancel this off. So let me refresh this page again. And over here we have other things. Now we have disable form. So temporarily disable all form event handlers. I can temporarily disable all the business rule within the form. I can temporarily disable all the JavaScript library. So this is also handy feature. So you can disable the form hand event handler, business rule, and the JavaScript library. Now, this is a model driven app. Now, this is in a light mode. Now, if you want to view it into the dark mode, what happens is like you navigate to the record set, and then you have an option to add a query string to make it in a dark mode. But then if you want it very quickly, just click on dark mode, and this will enable the dark mode for the model driven app. So I'll click on enable dark mode, and then it will open the application in a dark mode. So even if you go into any other link, it will respect that dark mode functionality. So that's it, folks. This is how we have basically looked into the navigation, the form, the commands, debugging related options in the level of for Dynamics 365 Power Apps. Now, there are some issues within the existing plugin, but then if you find any issue, just report an issue into the GitHub and it gets fixed very quickly by the author. Thanks for watching.